Hello friends, how many of you know what the story of Paan is? Story of Paan? Yes, the betel leaf? Well, I am Ammu and I am going to narrate the story of Paan to you today. And where? On Ammu&You, where I have lovely stories always to narrate to you. This story has been written by Sudha Murthy. So let us hear the story of Paan. Once upon a time, there were two brothers, Bhanu and Veer. Their parents had died when they were young, and Bhanu brought up his younger brother with a lot of love and care. When Bhanu was old enough, he married Bharti. She was also a lovely, loving person and looked after Veer with as much love as her husband did. When Veer was about 20 years of age, he heard that their king was looking for soldiers to join his army. As there was going to be a war, Veer decided to join the army. How much his brother and sister-in-law cried and pleaded, telling him to remain home with them. But no, Veer had to go and join the army. So he left his brother and sister with the promise that he will be back soon. For many days there was no news of Veer. The king went to war, vanquished his enemy and returned. The people who had gone to join as soldiers also remained now free to go back home. But where was Veer? Bhanu would call out to the other soldiers and ask about Veer. Veer, oh yes, so sad, he died, in the battlefield, said one of them, shaking his head. Now this was something that Bhanu could not bear to listen. No. Somebody else said, he was injured and he recovered. Did he not come home? The third would say, he was on his way home when he fell ill. But no news after that. On hearing these awful things, Bhanu was deeply saddened. He decided he could not live at home waiting for his dear little brother to return. He had to go and find out and look for him. When he told his wife about his wish, Bharti too decided to go with him, saying that what would I do alone when you are gone? So together they set off one day to look for missing Veer and bring him home. They decided to go to the site of King's big battle, where Veer was last seen by his companions. This place was so far away and they had to travel through forests and cross valleys and mountains and deserts. The two walked and walked over miles, but poor Bharti, she was not strong enough to walk so much and to endure so much of hardship. She was very soon exhausted. And then to Bhanu's great horror, she died out of sheer exhaustion. Unable to bear this grief, Bhanu too died immediately. Over many years at the place where the couple had died, two trees grew. One was a tall tree and the other a creeper that hugged the tree. It was as if Bharti and Bhanu were together even in death. Meanwhile, Veer, the brother they had loved so deeply, was not really dead. He had got terribly wounded in the war and spent many years recovering from his injuries in a little village far away from home. When he finally recovered, he came back as fast as he could to his brother and his sister-in-law. But imagine his surprise when he found the house locked and bolted and abandoned for many years. This is what the neighbours told him. And now Bhanu decided to go look for his brother and sister-in-law. That night Veer cried many bitter tears. He was so looking forward to be with his family again. But what could he do? When morning dawned, he left for the place to search for his dear brother and sister-in-law. He was a soldier and he was strong but had not become so strong yet. So it took him many days to walk across the difficult land Bhanu and his wife had crossed. Then one day, near a forest, he reached a little shrine. The villagers told him the sad story of how the shrine came to be. Years ago, a couple had arrived at the spot from days of walking. Legend had it that they were on the way looking for a long lost brother. When the two died without fulfilling this wish, two wonderful plants unknown to anyone earlier had grown at the spot. The leaves and nuts from the trees were so sweet and refreshing that the villagers decided to build a small temple for the man and woman at the place. We listened to the story with growing sorrow. He realized the couple they talked about was none other than his dear brother and sister-in-law. Unable to bear the news, he turned into a statue of limestone. Now, do you know, children, how they have been all remembered ever since? The tall tree grew nuts called Areca nuts, supari in Hindi. The creeper's leaves are Paan or betel leaves. People have it, after their meals. And from the same statue came the lime paste that is added to prepare the Paan. They take the betel leaf, put the lime paste, then the crushed areca nuts, and then they eat it. And this is how this loving family came together even after death. Together, they taught people the value of love, unity, and loyalty. And when people chew Paan, they remember this story. What a beautiful love story, right? Like, share, subscribe, children. Press the bell icon. Thank you for listening to this story. Wait for Ammu when I come back again with another one. Till then, Ammu says, ta-ta.